The first time Captain Elias Thorne saw her, the ship trembled. Not because of weapons fire or gravity shearing through the hull, but because the Valora Prime herself, the enormous, crystalline woman who had walked onto the human flagship, was taller than the hangar gates that framed her. She had to stoop low, ducking beneath the reinforced beams, her glowing armor scraping sparks along the titanium. Every human in the bay froze. Even the drones halted mid-hover. Her kind, the Orren Titanidae, were a race of living colossi. Humanoid, yes, but each one a walking fusion of biocrystal and matter compression technology. They stood 10, sometimes 12 meters tall, their skin shimmering like refracted nebula light. And she, General Vareen of the Orren Dominion, was their most feared commander, and the newly signed co-belligerent in humanity's war against the Karth Dominion. Elias Thorne had expected to meet a giant, but not her. Not someone whose presence made him forget his own species' fragility. He had heard the stories, how Orren giants considered humans small, weak, temporary, allies perhaps but not equals. Yet when her golden eyes fell upon him, she didn't sneer. She smiled. "So," she said, her voice a deep, resonant hum that vibrated through the air. "You're the one they call the human captain." Elias tilted his chin upward. "And you're the one they call a myth." The corner of her colossal lips curved. "You're bold for something that could fit in my palm." "Comes with being human," he said. "We're stubborn about respect." Vareen laughed, a sound like thunder echoing in crystal caverns. And from that moment the bond began. Over the next months, the alliance between humans and Orren flourished. Together they pushed back the Karth armadas, those insectoid marauders that devoured whole moons. Elias and Vareen fought side by side, though side by side often meant she obliterated capital ships while he commanded squadrons from orbit. Still, after each battle, they would find each other amidst the wreckage, meeting at the border where human-scale gravity ended and Orren-scale platforms began. There he'd bring her reports and questions. She'd bring wisdom and that teasing smile. Sometimes they would talk about war, sometimes about peace, and sometimes about loneliness. One night, after the Battle of Helion Spire, Elias found her seated on a fractured asteroid, her legs dangling into space like a goddess resting between stars. The wreckage of 1,000 ships surrounded her. The Orren fleet glowed in the distance, repairing. He floated closer in his exosuit, landing on her armored shoulder like an insect on a mountain. She turned her head, eyes like twin suns. "You shouldn't be here, Captain," she murmured. "Your body can't survive the exposure for long." "I'll risk it," he said, tapping his suit's oxygen gauge. "I wanted to see you." Her expression softened. "Why?" "Because you look like you're carrying a universe on your back." Her chest rose and fell, a movement slow and powerful enough to shake his footing. Then she whispered, "It's heavy, Elias. Too heavy sometimes." He sat down, resting a hand on the crystalline ridge beside him. "Then let me carry a little of it." She looked at him, this small, fragile human offering to share her cosmic weight, and laughed softly, though there was sadness in it. "You couldn't, Elias. You're too small. I'm too big for you, human." He smiled up at her. "Maybe. But love's never been about size." That word, love, hung between them, dangerous and bright. For the first time the Titan looked away. In the days that followed, rumors spread through the fleets that the Orren General had taken a human under her personal command, that they spoke in private, that he stood beside her when the joint councils met. To most Orren the thought was absurd. To most humans it was suicide. But to them it was something else entirely. Each meeting drew them closer. Every moment in battle, where she shielded his fleet from Karth energy lances, where he dove his fighter through the cracks of her defenses to save her from bombers, built a thread of connection stronger than alloy. Until the day came when the war struck back. The Karth Prime Offensive. 16 wormholes erupted across Humanoran space, spewing armadas that dwarfed anything seen before. The Dominion and Earth's Defense Command scrambled to respond, but the enemy had a single objective: Helion Spire. The place where Elias and Vareen had first fought together. They knew it wasn't coincidence. The Karth were sending a message. The fleets assembled. The battle began. From the command bridge, Elias could see her across the void. Her enormous frame striding through space, each step shattering asteroids as she hurled plasma spears the size of skyscrapers. Even amid chaos, she moved with elegance, purpose. And then his sensor screamed, "Vareen, you've got 5 Karth dreadnoughts on Vector 7. Her voice echoed through comms. "I see them. Pull back, Captain. Not a chance. We're covering you." But she was faster. Her enormous arms glowed, building a gravitational well in her palms before slamming them together. The resulting shockwave tore 3 of the dreadnoughts apart, but the remaining 2 fired. Elias watched in horror as their energy beams struck her full in the chest. Her shield flared and then shattered. He didn't think. He ordered his fleet forward, the Vigilant Dawn breaking formation, charging straight into the line of fire. Every officer protested, but he only had one command: protect her. When they finally reached her, she was falling. Her luminous form dimmed, sparks flickering from her fractured armor. He docked his shuttle against her shoulder, sprinting across the wounded surface as if running across a dying planet. The air smelled of ozone and burning crystal. He reached her faceplate, cracked, dim and bleeding radiant light. "Vareen, stay with me." Her eyelids trembled open, golden light fading to ember. "Elias, you shouldn't have come." "Couldn't stay away," he said, gripping the edge of her armor. "You saved my world. Now it's my turn." She smiled weakly. "You humans. Always trying to save things too big for you. And somehow," he said, voice breaking, "we always find a way." He connected his suit's energy link into her crystal veins, feeding his life support directly into her dying systems. She tried to protest, but he ignored her, pushing power through until alarms blared in his helmet. Her systems flickered, stabilized. Her eyes glowed again. "Elias," she whispered, "you'll die doing this." He smiled faintly. "Worth it." She lifted a trembling hand, bigger than his entire ship, and curled it gently around him, shielding him from the cold of space. "You stubborn, beautiful human." And then, through her tears of light, she said something he'd never expected to hear from a Titan. "If I live through this, I won't let you go." Part 2. He held a giant's heart. When light returned, it came not as dawn, but as a pulse. Vareen's crystalline chest flickered once, twice, then ignited, sending streams of golden energy coursing through her massive frame. The void around her shimmered as if bowing to her rebirth. Her systems rebooted, armor sealing fractures, consciousness returning in shards. For a moment she was confused. Then memory crashed down on her like debris from a dying star. Elias. She felt him. Faintly. Inside her core systems, where his power link had fused. His human energy, weak, fragile but there, woven into her like a heartbeat. She reached inward with trembling thought, scanning every circuit. And then she found him. His body floated inside the containment field of her heart chamber, Oxygen nearly gone, suit drained, heartbeat thin. He looked impossibly small within the radiant cavern that was her chest, like a single spark adrift in the sun. Vareen pressed a colossal hand against her own sternum. "You fool," she whispered, voice cracking like thunder under strain. "You gave me your life." The human fleet was in disarray. Orren ships regrouped. The Karth remnants scattered. But Vareen didn't move with them. Not yet. Her only mission now was one. She bent space itself and vanished from the battlefield. When Elias woke, he expected pain. Or perhaps nothing at all. Instead, he found himself surrounded by a soft, amber glow. The air was warm, sweet, humming faintly. He blinked. He was lying in a crystalline chamber. Part medical bay, part cathedral. The walls were alive with pulsating veins of light, each heartbeat echoing faintly with a rhythm he recognized. Vareen's rhythm. "You're awake." Her voice was gentle now, resonating from all around him. He looked up to see her colossal face framed above the chamber, eyes glowing with something far softer than war. Elias groaned, sitting up. "How long was I out?" 3 days, she said. "Long enough for every Orren medic to call you impossible." He looked down at his body, bandaged, connected to strange energy filaments that pulsed with her glow. "Guess humans have a habit of surviving what we shouldn't." She smiled, though her eyes shimmered with tears like molten gold. "You did more than survive. You saved me." He shrugged weakly. "Just returning the favor." She shook her head. "No, Elias. You did something no Orren has ever done. You merged your life force with mine. My systems still carry your signature. We are linked." He blinked, unsure whether to feel amazed or terrified. "Linked? As in I feel your heartbeat within me. I sense your emotions. Even your dreams." Elias flushed. "So, you saw the one about the cafeteria food fight?" Her laughter thundered through the chamber. "Yes. It was adorable." They shared a moment of laughter, and for a heartbeat, the galaxy outside didn't matter. Weeks passed. The war quieted. The Karth retreat turned into silence. Humans and Orren began rebuilding what they had almost lost. Yet amidst the noise of politics and rebuilding fleets, Elias and Vareen became something else entirely. Symbols. The Titan and the human. The story that spread across systems as proof that even races of stars and flesh could bridge the unbridgeable. But within the myth lived a truth only they knew. Late in the artificial nights, when the fleets rested in orbit, Vareen would sit in the docking cradle she'd had built to human scale. A platform on her shoulder where Elias could stand beside her face, the stars reflecting in both their eyes. One evening he broke the silence. "You remember what you said that first time we met?" She turned her head slightly. "I say many things. Remind me." "You're too small for me," he quoted with a grin. "And I said love isn't about size." She smiled. "And you proved it. But you never asked what I thought after that." He tilted his head. "What did you think?" Her eyes softened, their golden light dimming to the gentle hue of sunset. "I thought, if love truly has no limits, then neither does hope." She extended her hand, massive and trembling slightly, and he stepped into it without hesitation. Her fingers curled protectively around him, not in dominance but in devotion. "You're still small, Elias," she whispered, voice trembling. "But now when I hold you, I feel like I'm the one being protected." He smiled. "That's because you are. Always." And in that quiet void between stars, a human and a giant shared something no fleet could name and no history could erase. A connection that defied biology, size, and even the laws of physics themselves. Years later, when the peace treaties were carved into the surface of the Orren moon Calira, it was Vareen and Elias who signed them side by side. She with a hand that could crush worlds. He with fingers that once held nothing but a stylus and a dream. Every race, human, Orren and countless others, looked upon them and saw not a soldier and a titan, but proof that the universe's most powerful force was not gravity, nor energy, nor war. 'Twas empathy. 'Twas love. Plug. The legends say that when Vareen's lifespan finally reached its limit, centuries after the last Karth ship fell silent, she returned to the Helion Spire, the place where she and Elias had nearly died. There, in the glow of the twin suns, she sat upon the same asteroid where he had once rested on her shoulder. And beside her, sealed within a crystalline casing at her heart's core, still pulsed the faint, eternal echo of a human heartbeat. Because even death, it seemed, could not separate what love had woven together. "You were too small for me, human," she whispered to the stars, smiling through tears that shone like novas. "And yet you filled my whole world."